The Coffin Comics Sworn Club Show. Welcome, everybody. Here we are, May. Summer's about to begin. Let's get to it. So, Coffin Comics Sworn Club Show. What can you expect? Well, if you can see right here, got a bunch of goodies. I'm going to raffle them off to some of our current club members. That's not all. We're actually going to do get caught up on the news. I'm going to show you a blast from the past, and then we're going to round up this live stream with some Q&A with the old classic Beer with Brian. So without further ado, let's get into it. The Coffin Comics Sworn Club. You may be asking yourself, what is it? You should totally be part of it. The Sworn Club, when you join, comes with a bunch of goodies. Expect some updated goodies coming sometime this year. It includes a membership card and other fun paraphernalia and ephemera. But that's not all. You also feature the Coffin Comics news 24 hours before everyone else in the world and a 1-hour advantage in the majority of Coffin Comics promotions. And I got to tell you, sometimes that advantage really is key. So join the club. You can join at coffincomicsshop.com. Let's talk about some news, everybody. What's in the news is what's coming up. Next Thursday, we launch Lady Satanis Looks That Kill, May 22nd, 5 p.m. This one is set in the great time of the hair metal era, late 80s Sunset Strip. So get in on it now. Just did a live stream about it, previewed some of the claims that we're offering, and I cordially invite you to get in on it. We are offering it on our very own crowdfunding platform called Coffin Launch. You could actually go to Coffin Launch right now and get a preview of everything that we're offering. So why not do that? Spare a couple minutes right after the stream. Check it out. Next up, in June, Lady Gunfighter Chapter 2 Condemnation is coming at you. It's true. We have a bunch of super cool cover artists, but for folks who like supernatural westerns in the mighty Coffin Comics manner, this one is for you. Last year, Lady Gunfighter Chapter 1 was a sleeper hit. This Chapter 2 really pays everything off that we started. That particular story is by myself, Mike McLean, Joel Gomez, and Hedwin Zalvadar. And of course, lettered by veteran letterer, Marshall Dillon. That's right. Next up, early June, Phoenix Fan Fusion. This is our local Comic-Con, and Coffin Comics will be out there in full effect. We have a bunch of exclusives that we'll be announcing shortly, and we'll have exclusives from attending artists, including Laura Braga and Monty Moore. More to be announced. It's going to be ridiculous. Please be there. Next up, next Friday is World Goth Day offered again. Last year we had a fun promotion called World Goth Day with gorgeous imagery by Mike DiBalfo and Elias Chazoudis and others. And we are going to offer the last remaining copies, first come, first serve, next week. That's what's going on. And we're going to roll some video. We're going to come back in a minute and we're going to show you a blast from the past. So without further ado, let's throw it to video. Hi, this is Brian Pulido, creator of Lady Satanis, and I'm presenting the all-new 48-page original graphic novel entitled Lady Satanis Looks That Kill. In 1988, Los Angeles' Sunset Strip becomes a heavy metal mecca of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and Lady Satanis is there for it. From wild nightclubs to hedonistic penthouse parties, the Devil's Daughter raises hell. Too bad a demonic serial killer shows up to ruin her good time. Soon, nowhere is safe as the psycho leaves a gruesome trail of butchered bodies in its wake. To stop the murders, Lady Satanis must confront her dark past and face one of hell's deadliest adversaries. It's a bloody, heavy metal thrill ride. Please back our campaign now and tell everybody you know. Thank you so much. Welcome to a segment we call Remember This. Man, I've been in this comics game for over 34 years. And during that time, I've made some fun, cool stuff. So I figured I'd like to show you something that's a blast from the past. So let me set this up. So whatever I have here is pretty big and pretty wild, and see if you remember it. Check it out, man. Here it is, the mask from the Evil Ernie walk-around costume. So we made this costume in the mid to late 90s with Michael Burnett Productions, and this is a casting of it. And we had our graphic designer, Mike Flippin, who is still our graphic designer, walk around with it. So check it out. This is the last living remaining pull, I think, from the mold of this Evil Ernie. And he stood 6'9". It was crazy. So here's the mistake I made, though. Mike Flippin was our graphic designer, and he always had to do our graphic design. But we built the costume for a man who was 6'9", which Mike is. So it was very hard to find a replacement to be the costume. But this is really cool. Let's see here. So Zane says, I like Lady Death comics, and I'm going to try my best to collect all of them. I highly encourage that. Let's see here. Miguel Apodaca says, he'll be at Phoenix Fan Fusion. That'll be awesome. And Ed says, good evening, Sir Brian Pulido. You don't have to call me sir, but I'm happy you call me Brian. Ed says, wow. And let's see here. Solomon says, that Evil Ernie head looks like fire. It's wonderful and it's ridiculous. So that's a fun remember now. Remember this from Coffin Comics. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, I presume, check out these cool goodies we're about to give out to some lucky Sworn Club members. So the first set that we're going to give away is this cool Lady Death #1 and a beautiful Ed Bennis Hell Witch and Paolo Pantalena Incentive Edition. That first set, plus a bunch of swag. So our first club member who's receiving this, I'm just going to announce your first name, not your last, is Joe H. Joe H. Thank you for being a club member. And just for being a club member, you're getting these goodies. Let's do it again, shall we? So what's the next set of goodies? The next set of goodies for the lucky club member is this beautiful Richard Ortiz La Muerta, this Jen Brumhill Lady Death, and this is a personal favorite. Check out this cool Richard Ortiz Crazy Foil Edition. I love it. And plus the aforementioned variety of swag. Now, you may have heard that I publish comic books in a thinly veiled manner just to produce all the swag we produce, and it's true. I actually produce all our comics just so we can make stickers, but don't tell anybody that. But it's true. I love stickers. It's crazy. All right, so our next club member is James M. James M., thank you for being a club member. You are about to get some goodies, and that is awesome. All right, thirdly, we have the beautiful Dawn McTague Hell Witch foil, Richard Ortiz Incentive Edition. This one goes back a couple years. And then the Paolo Pantalena Lady Death, Superpower, Supercharged. What lucky Sworn Club member is going to get this one? I don't know, but we're about to find out. And it is Julio C. Julio C., you're a lucky Sworn Club member. We thank you for being a Sworn Club member. And we encourage each and every person watching this show, join the club. You get 24-hour advantage on the news, 24-hour advantage on the great majority of our promotions. So I hope you enjoyed that. So stand by. We're going to throw it to video. And when I come back, we're going to get into an informal conversation we like to call Beer with Brian. Thanks, everybody. Be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome to Beer with Brian, where I have no beer because it's not 6 o'clock. We get done at Coffin Comics here at 6 o'clock, but this is an informal conversation where I might do some rumination about current pop culture, offer you my opinions, insights, and feel free to ask me questions about Coffin Comics stuff. So let's see here. Will you be at New York Comic Con this year? It's been a while. So I have not been back to New York Comic Con since 2019. However, there may be a Brian Pulido in New York City in the fall of 2025 convention announcement, but it's not for me to say. So please stand by and plan something. Let's see here. I noticed at the end of Cataclysmic Majesty, Lady Gunfighter was called Lady Gunslinger. That's true. And we didn't want to copy the other gunslinging characters out there, so we changed the name. That's simple. Let's see here. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's true. So we'll get into a little my own pop culture ruminations. Please feel free to kind of get some questions ready and post them up there. First up, I recently saw the movie Thunderbolts, and this might be a contrarian opinion, but I didn't care for it. And look, I have my opinions. They mean nothing. I just like to have conversations about it, but I didn't like it. You might say, why didn't I like it? There was no true bad guy. The bad guy did a heel turn and became a good guy. All the characters had the same tonality. So all those characters and some of the guts and the hard edge of the U.S. agent was taken away. He was really good in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but they just made him, they truly made him a plain asshole in this movie. So he was unlikable. He wasn't paying attention to his child. That's not the character that I'm used to reading, nor is it the character that we were introduced to in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He saw problems in a very rough manner. He was prone to violence, but he wasn't necessarily an asshole. So those are some of my beefs with it. Not my favorite. I also saw Sinners over the weekend, and I enjoyed it. That's the new Ryan Coogler movie with about vampires set in the early 30s down south, and I really enjoyed that film. It had a feeling like From Dusk Till Dawn, where at the beginning of the movie, it felt like one movie, and then the horrific element kicks in, it's a whole nother movie. But it was very richly realized, probably an unlimited budget. Ryan Coogler is a bravura filmmaker. I think that guy can make the most boring stuff interesting. And then, the main actor played two roles. So that was Michael B. Jordan played twins. That was remarkable. So let's see here. Samantha said she saw The Accountant 2. I would like to see that. I'm going to see it. I really enjoyed the first one. And let's see here. Substitute Angel said, I saw Thunderbolts and thought it was decent. And then Eye of the Watcher said, from heel to babyface. Exactly. He went from heel. He went from Extinction City level event heel to someone who was wanting to do dishes. Literally, that was the villain. So when will Gemini horoscope editions drop? Well, the answer to that question will be when is Gemini offered in the Zodiac? Does anybody know out there? So right there. Just quick, any update on the Lady Death video game? Ed, things proceed apace on the Lady Death video game, still on track for April 2026 release. There's going to be beta testing open to people who back that tier in the Kickstarter in late summer. And then at Comic-Con International San Diego, there will be actually an early beta playable version, possibly an arcade there for people to play at our booth, which I think is 752. Let's see here. I like Thunderbolts quite a lot. It was a good movie. Okay, cool. I'm glad. Again, my opinion. Look, I don't know about you guys and gals in your real life. In my real life, I have a group of friends, and we argue about music like people argue about sports. But we're just having a good time. I mean, we argue for keeps, mind you. But again, we don't care. It's fine. It's just our point of view. Let's see here. Gemini should drop in June. So then, Miguel, you're right. Oh, it actually, Matthew, to answer your question, Gemini will drop the same weekend as Phoenix Fan Fusion. However, it will only be offered online, and we're not necessarily bringing them to Fan Fusion unless you make arrangements. Yeah. So let's see, what else is going on in pop culture? I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale. Francisca and I have been watching it the entire time. We just watched season 6, episode 8, which means there's 2 more left. If you have not watched that series, it's brutal. And I'm very curious on how it will all end. There's too many characters that are still alive. I think some characters are going to have to die. Let's see, what else are we watching that kind of comes to my mind? No, that's about it. Anybody else have any questions or you'd like to ask about upcoming Coffin Comics stuff? Happy to answer it. Francisca's watching and she said, in his eye. Quite literally, that could be a tip-off if you are watching it. You know, in ways you probably wouldn't believe or perceive or imagine, Francisca Pulido and I like some shows you wouldn't imagine. We watch Survivor religiously, so tonight would be another issue of Survivor. There's 50 seasons. We've probably seen 46 seasons of Survivor. Love it. We love MTV's The Challenge. I know Matthew Stapleton also loves it. I'm already, there's a season that just ended, so we're already going through withdrawal. I hope they pop one up. And Chad says, Miles Catton and Jack O'Donnell from Sinners were great, amazing voices and talent. Oh yeah, that movie was just, the filmmaking was great. All the craftsmanship was incredible. I thought the music in particular was incredible. And it's a new trend in movie music where it could be almost anything. Cinematic music, every form of musical genre, sometimes even within one scene. So it was really, really good. And if you're going to see Sinners, definitely see it on the big screen. It is meant to be seen on the big screen, and it really fills a big screen. And it's good to see with an audience. Let's see here. Still looking for Aries' nice cover. Sorry about that. We learned a lesson on the print runs on those. That one did sell out. I foresee the other ones not selling out. We're making arrangements for that. And let's see, what else is there? I'm reading the Marvel Godzilla versus series. So I'm reading Godzilla versus Hulk tonight, and I also have Godzilla versus Fantastic Four. I'll be reading those shortly. In comics, I've been reading the Creepshow series from Skybound and the new EC books from Oni Press, including Epitaphs from the Abyss, which is probably the coolest title for a comic book. I mean, I feel jealous. I'm rarely a jealous person, but I'm actually jealous I didn't come up with that title. Epitaphs from the Abyss. That is awesome. Let's see here. Any insider info on Swornfest 2026? Chad, thanks for asking. Here's the insider info. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. Arizona time. Some insider info is our new venue, which is Sheraton Mesa Wrigleyville, is phenomenal. It's sort of an all-inclusive. It's the hotel. The hotel rooms are much cheaper than previously. So you'll be able to just go to your room, come down to the festival, the whole thing. So tomorrow would also be our first guest announcements. So I think there's a special one that longtime sworn members, OGs, Fiends will enjoy. So do stay tuned for that announcement tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll post it on social media. If you are on our mailing list, and if you aren't, I encourage you to go to coffincomics.com, upper right, join, because you will get the news tomorrow. Have you read Psycho Sal from William Russell? I know William, and I am aware of Psycho Sal, but I haven't read it yet. So if you suggest it, I will look into it. Let's see here. Outcast. I think in the old days, Lady Death could defeat Satanis mostly by herself. Well, I think, all forms of the devil are very capricious. It's very hard to tell. I think that if you read the story and you've seen Hell Witch, Lady Death, Hellgasm, Satanis is quite powerful in this incarnation. So she definitely needed help. So there you have it. Miguel Apodaca is threatening me, and he says it better be Richard Ortiz. Look, Richard is from a very, very far away and very inaccessible, so I really wouldn't get your hopes up. Next up is Matthew says, oh, they've had horror conventions there. Yes, that is that venue. The other advantage of the new venue is there are 30 restaurants within walking distance. The hotel itself has a bar, serves coffee, has a couple of restaurants themselves, but you could actually walk a bit across the street, and there's IHOP. There's 30 restaurants. It just goes on. There's Jersey Mike's. There's barbecue. The list goes on. Well, folks, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to speaking to you soon again in the near future. We're just double checking if there isn't a new. Chad is asking, is it close to HQ? Yeah, it's about a mile away from HQ. So the Delta was a mile or so away east, and maybe it's what, 2 miles away, maybe 3 miles away. It's a short Uber, and that is due west. So yeah, and again, the format is different on Swornfest in 2026. The entire Friday will be an open house tour of Coffin Comics compound. We will not have the compound open Saturday and Sunday. The reasoning for that is to have our staff members who have literally never experienced Swornfest to be able to experience it, because the staff who kind of handled the tour formerly would rarely get there. So that's an answer to that. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the Sworn Club show of the month, including the raffle, the Remember This, and Beer with Brian. You've been great. I've been Brian Pulido. I'll talk to you sooner than you realize. Thank you.